Hello everyone, welcome back to the James A channel. This is going to be my 10-minute review of The Robot Revolution, the opening story of Doctor Who Season 2. This review will have spoilers in it, so please do go and see The Robot Revolution before you listen to this review. I don't want to ruin any of the key talking points, so make sure to do that. Now let's get into this. When robots from outer space kidnap nurse Belinda Chandra, the Doctor embarks on an epic intergalactic quest to get his new friend back home to Earth. So it opens off with Belinda essentially getting a star named after her by some creepy teenager, and it then transitions into her 16 or 17 years later working as a nurse in a hospital. The Doctor then comes into it as well. All of this, it's cool, but it is kind of the samey RTD, showing a companion just in the everyday hectic life with the Doctor coming along. It's not that original, but it works well, and it gets us into things very quickly. Now, the Doctor, he, uses the Sonic to do something to a computer and ends up taking out all of the power in the hospital, and you can actually hear a heartbeat monitor going flat, so clearly he's killed people. It's a bit careless, but anyway, we'll skip past that. And yeah, Belinda, she goes back to her flat, and by this point it's kind of clear that she's maybe not being treated that well by people, and that kind of has importance later on, that this character maybe has things go against her quite a bit of the time, but she holds her own. Belinda's then kidnapped by the robots and the spaceship in the backyard. That all looks very good. We then see Mrs. Flood, and Mrs. Flood, once again looks at the camera and says something. So I am beginning to believe, actually, in the land of fiction theory surrounding her, that she is the master of the land of fiction. The Doctor's in it. We're then on the planet of Miss Belinda Chandra, or whatever the planet's called. Basically, everything is named after her, because why wouldn't it? And we find out the Doctor is a historian. He spent a shit ton of time on this planet, 6 months to be precise, and it's weird. The past two stories now, he spends a prolonged amount of time in one place, and it's pretty much all off camera, and I'm kind of thinking that might have relevance later on, because it's a bit random to just jump between time. It's a very Moffat trope that RTD is suddenly doing, so I feel like that will have importance later on. Otherwise, I don't really see why he couldn't have just spent a couple of days there before she arrived. But, Belinda then is going to be revealed that she's going to be marrying an AI, and yeah, it's not a particularly great idea. The way they executed it was not that bad, but I think you're setting yourself up for failure with such a stupid thing. And there's this big shootout. Sasha 55, is that her name? She gets killed, and a tear rolls down the Doctor's face. We've known her for about 4 minutes, but very sad. I'm sure people at home would have been crying with that one. Yeah, the Doctor and Belinda begin to get to know each other more, and there's stuff with the X-ray blankets, which is a very cool idea, actually, and it's a quick way and a creative way of getting across the idea that he's a Time Lord, she's a human, these people have different biology, so that's effective. The story progresses, and I will say there is quite a lot of political stuff in there, ranging from, digging at doctors not doing anything while nurses do all the work, to a lot of stuff about coercion in there. So the political stuff, it doesn't really detract from the story, but it's not exactly subtle. I can't remember how, but eventually Belinda gets the robots to come, and they take her to this room that looks like it's something out of, I don't know, Star Wars or Marvel, and it's actually quite a good twist, showing that the AI is actually Alan, the weird boyfriend from earlier. It's a good twist. I think the story is going a bit of a weird direction by this point, but it caught me off guard. And his whole story is revealed that they took him from the future, but he ended up in the past. But I think it's a bit, I don't know, misguided to say that this guy went from playing video games to all of a sudden he's just this corrupt, powerful ruler who kills this guy, who starts this robot war. I don't quite think that's how it works, but okay, we'll accept that and keep going on for plot. And yeah, Belinda's confronting him, the Doctor's involved, and I will say, Belinda and the Doctor, I mean, Gatwa and Varada Sethu instantly, they work really well together. So by this point, they feel like a a good team. And Belinda realizes that she can use the diploma to make an explosion because atoms can't be in the same place at the same time. We actually then go into a bit of a Deus Ex Machina ending because it's just, oh, this little explosion essentially saves the day. It's barely an explosion, it's just some little sparks. And then what comes next actually is a very good sequence. It's a bit disorientating, very well directed, that sequence of the Doctor, Alan, Belinda all in that weird realm. So I liked that, and I will say the direction on the whole for this story was very strong. There was some good lighting, I thought, in places as well, and overall I was impressed with it. Anyway, going back to all the stuff with Alan, I thought the resolution was a bit weak, and if you look, that all gets wrapped up at about the 35-minute mark. So, considering the intro is about 6 minutes, we really only have about half an hour worth of the actual story on the planet. But that does then transition into the ending. And, yeah, we get Belinda in the TARDIS, and the Doctor's revealing all the stuff about the 51st century. And I think The Well, which is the third story, is set in the 51st century. So we're going to get some answers to Monday Flynn, who of course was in Boom in the 51st century. Are we going to get some linking to that? You would have thought so. That will be interesting to see. But by this point, Belinda really is not keen to stay in the TARDIS. She wants to go home. And this is interesting, because most companions are happy to stay in the TARDIS, but this time she seems really sort of desperate to go home. I don't quite know why. I don't really know what there was for her back on Earth. Her life seemed a bit in turmoil. I suppose she had her parents to go back to, as she mentioned once or twice. But it's interesting that she doesn't want to stay. I will mention now that Varada Sethu is a strong actress, but her character kind of feels like an amalgamation of RTD's characters. You know, she's a nurse, and that's similar to Martha. She doesn't think she's important at one point, and that's a bit like Donna. And the season's mysteries seem like they are going to revolve around her, which, of course, is what happened with Ruby last season. The fact that she doesn't want to stay, yeah, that's refreshing. The Doctor as well is good here. I haven't been a massive fan of the 15th Doctor at times, but I had no complaints. If he had his Doctor like this in most stories, then maybe he'd be a bit high in the rankings for me. Feels like we're just starting to get a good run of stories for him, character-wise, but there's rumours that Shooting Out was going to be leaving, so maybe he's leaving at the wrong time. Going back to the plot, they're trying to get back to the 24th of May, 2025, but they go there and it's just empty space, and, I mean, that's an idea that's been done once or twice for finales. Soul and Earth is a bit like that, or the world just being erupting into chaos is a bit what happened last year with the Sutek finale. So it doesn't quite feel like an original storyline leading us to the finale, but hey ho. The TARDIS then takes off and we can see remnants of stuff from Earth going by. There's a taxi, there's the Eiffel Tower, which is about the same size as the taxi, so I don't quite know how that works. The Statue of Liberty. Shit is going to go down in a few weeks, guys. The story may have had some flaws, but the ending was pretty good. And this is where I will say my overall out of 10 rating for the story. I would say maybe it was a little bit dull at times. The plot wasn't really for me. It could have been worse, but I was kind of a bit unengaged. So I'm thinking maybe a 5 or a 6 out of 10, which doesn't sound amazing. But I should say I'm still very looking forward to the rest of the season. This hasn't left me deflated or anything. I think because of the last 5 minutes showing that they can't get back to the 24th of May, all this stuff is going to happen. I'm quite excited. So I think the next few weeks will be very interesting. That's all from me, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I hope you did enjoy. Please consider liking and subscribing. There's going to be a lot more Doctor Who Season 2 content from me in the future. But for now, I will see you later.